What's going on, everyone? It's Living to Learn. Yeah, I'm here at home. I got my new setup. It's not all the way set up the way I want it to be, but you know what? It's good enough for me to sit down and record for this week. Because as you know, I emphasize the importance for myself of being consistent when it comes to making these videos. Plus, I love to do it, and I'm a content creator, so content is what I have to create. Now, you know that I'm an aspiring life coach. If this is your first time watching my videos, I hope that you'll subscribe. I hope you'll also go into the description of the video and consider donating financially to my channel. That helps me continue to make this stuff. Also, if you go in there, you're going to see my handle for TikTok and Instagram. It's the same one, at Live to Learn, the number 2, at Live to Learn Coaching. Follow me there, message me there if you want to connect with me, if you want to communicate with me, if you want to find out more about my coaching services. I'm happy to help. Now, I want to talk about something as we transition from last week. Last week was all about boundaries, setting firm boundaries. I made a few videos about, not having the greatest day and how do we respond. Remember, we are in control of very little other than ourselves, other than how we choose to respond to our circumstance. Remember, we always have a choice. We always get to choose, how am I going to react to this? How am I going to allow this to make me react? And it's not an easy thing. I say it, it's easy for me to talk about it. It's easy for me to lay it out there, but it's definitely not easy to practice. So I understand that. But here's another thing. I kind of want to transition from that to something that I think a lot of us deal with or have dealt with at least once in our lifetime. Again, depending on the type of person that you are. But maybe you grew up in a traditional home. You had a traditional, family. Everyone, mom and dad worked, or dad worked, or mom worked, and they went to work for 8 hours, 5 days a week, the 40-hour work week, and they did what they needed to do. Now, some people had the luxury of being able to retire and kind of just enjoy being able to do whatever they want. But there's a lot of us out there who are stuck. There's a lot of us out there who are taking on jobs, working our 40 hours plus, doing things that we're not necessarily, they're not necessarily a passion. They're not necessarily something that we love or we look forward to doing daily. But it is what they call it. It's work. It's a job. Now, before I go further, I want to say something. I definitely respect this. Okay, this is what I know. It's where I come from. I come from a long line of family members with an extremely strong work ethic that was modeled to me, that was given to me as an example, and I try to apply that in my life, and I want to pass that on to my children as well. But the idea that we have to settle, the idea that, hey, you know what, I got a job, it's a job, pays well, and tell me if you've heard this before. Maybe you or yourself, tell me if this conversation is familiar to you. You know what, it pays the bills. It's not the greatest. It's not what I want to do, but it pays really well. It allows me to take care of my family, and that's all that matters. Let me tell you something. I have a great deal of respect for that because I am in the exact same boat. I will do what I need to do to help and to provide for my family. Now, I'm fortunate that both myself and my spouse, we work. Fortunate enough to be able to do so. We're fortunate enough to be able to have a 2-income household. But for those of you that know, just by watching my videos, you know that my aspiration is to be a life coach, full-time, have my own business, my own coaching clinic, setup, company, whatever you want to call it, where I am in control of my schedule. Because the worst exchange in the history of humankind is time for money. And that's what we do when we go to work. And what else are we supposed to do, right? We live in a country where we have to work. So some of us have to put up with stuff we necessarily don't want to do, but we've got bills to pay, we've got rent, we've got mortgages, we've got stuff due, we've got responsibilities, we've got other people that we are in charge of, that we are responsible for other than ourselves. But here's what I want to offer. I want to offer the perspective that even if you are in that situation, and If that's good for you, I'm not knocking that at all. Maybe this is good enough. Hey, you know what? I want to be at work 40 hours a week. I want to move up in the company, and then I'll retire, and then I'll enjoy what I need to enjoy. Then I'll have all the time in the world. But you know what? The 9 to 5, this setup works for me. And if that's the case, hey, you know what? More power to you. More power to you. And I'm 100% in support of making the choice to appreciate, even if you don't like your job, even if you're not crazy about it, to appreciate the fact that at least you have a place to go to work. I take on that attitude every day. I go to work with gratitude in my heart and my mind. I'm grateful. I'm pleased. But there is more that I want to do. So here's what I'm trying to get at. Kind of like we talked about boundaries, right? How can we respond? What can you do? What can I do to position myself to start to move toward, even though I'm working, even though I'm holding down a 9 to 5, what can we do to begin to develop that strategy that's going to help us get toward what we want, our dream job, our dream position, our dream schedule, whatever it might be. Whatever it might be for you, it's going to be different for all of us. What can we do? Because I am of the belief, and I am of the understanding that we have control of that as well. Now, if we're going to get comfortable, if we're going to be, if we're going to procrastinate, like, yeah, one of these days I'll think of something else. But in the meantime, again, that's a choice, right? I am with the understanding that we can develop a strategy, we can develop a plan to move out of where we have to be to where we want to be. Are there guarantees in life? Very few. But I know this, none of us is going to live forever. So if there is something that you want to do, if there is a dream, if there's something out there like, yeah, you know what, if I had my way, this is what I would do. Right? What would you do? Like they say, what would you do even if you weren't getting paid for it? Well, for myself, you're looking at it. You're looking at it. Helping people, giving advice, coaching, helping people realize that there's more to them. There's more that they could do than they probably realized or believed before they met me. What's your dream? What do you want? And when are you going to get started on it? I understand the 9 to 5. I understand the grind. But we've got to choose. We've got to decide to make time to start working toward those things that we really want in life. We can't make excuses. If we want to succeed, if we want to progress, if we want to get there, we can't afford to make excuses. Yes, that's an option. Yes, it's a choice. And many of us choose that. But I say, let's use our energy. Let's use our effort. Let's use our thinking for something that's going to be much more beneficial, that's going to pay off. Maybe it wouldn't even pay off for me. But if it pays off for my kids and my future family, I'm all right with that too. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope you could relate. If it resonates with you, share the video. Like I said, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate, that'd be great. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Thanks again for watching. Have a great one.